our Audacity
You're
recordings.
gonna
This
put
is
it
what
up
we
there
do.
just as extras,
All
extra
right.
bloopers.
So, are you ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, we'll get you on your side. Let's get you on your side.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right. I hope mine popped up. It looked like it popped up. Anyways, I hope we're synchronized because otherwise it's gonna take me forever. Otherwise, it's gonna take me forever to get this situation sorted out. But hey, we get it done every time.
Better. That first clap was so much better.
Yeah, and I don't think we've had any major like international incidents when we do the synchronization. At least I don't think I can tell that we've had any hiccups so far. So we'll see how it goes this time. But yeah, so we're here live again here on the YouTubes on the Google Hangouts. This is for Salient Points number 24. 24, Dalan. We're almost old enough to drive at this point. They can almost trust us. They can almost trust to rent a car out to us. But yeah,
they revoked my license 5 times. It's too late.
I understand. I understand. You really shouldn't be driving, though. You really shouldn't be driving. Based on, I've been in a car with you before. But I'm your host, Carlos Macias, along with
Dalan
on the other side, Dalan Kirkwood. Nice. Thanks for coming on the show, Dalan. We were having some sort of creative differences, right? You wanted to talk about verisimilitude or something like that.
Warhammer.
So we're trying to figure that out. I don't know, but there's a sort of like maybe we can rant. Maybe it could be just me ranting, and then you can rant about something. For example,
I'll just do a quick blurb right now. Just a quick blurb. Being that it is a very understated game because Warhammer has some good games, and it looks like Warhammer Vermintide 2 is going to be really good. They already sold 500,000 copies in 4 days. Right now, it's only on PC.
It's out already.
They don't have a release.
It's out already, though.
It's only out on PC. It just dropped March 8th. They don't have a release date for console yet, so we're waiting on that.
For the PC gamers that are listening to you, you're basically saying it doesn't count, Dalan, that it's out on PC. You're saying like, it's just on PC.
You just threw the PC gamers out the window. Don't do that.
No, you did, because I said it's already out, and you were like, it's only out on PC.
Well, it is only out on PC. They don't have a wide range of systems.
They count too. But no, you know what? One of the things that was sort of bothering me that I was thinking about, I'll try to keep this quick, but it's I played Bravo Team this last week, and it's a $40 game, right? For PlayStation VR, and Sony's hyping it up to be like the next big sort of PSVR title, and they're pushing VR pretty hard, and I actually like that about Sony because otherwise you don't really hear about big titles other than whatever Sony's pushing. I know they did the Inpatient either last month or at the end of January, I believe. So this next game, I was like, you know what? Supermassive Studios, they did Until Dawn. They did a great job with Until Dawn, and then they did Rush of Blood, which was a sort of light gun shooter game that they did when the PlayStation VR launched, and that was a good title. But I don't know, man. I think they're declining. I feel like they're going the way of Rare Studios, you know, because I got Bravo Team, and it's a bad game, man. It's a bad game. I was even trying to keep it in a positive light where it was like, it is sort of like a virtual cop, but I was like, man, if I compare it to Virtual Cop, I think I'm giving it too much respect. It's like it's just not a very good game, and I'm glad that I actually took advantage of the GameStop quote unquote rental is what I call it, where you buy it used and you return it within the 7-day period. And I did platinum it, which makes me think. I know we've talked about Burnout Paradise before, how I didn't really like Burnout Paradise, but then I'm like, wait, I don't like Bravo Team. And I platinum that, so maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment, right? Because it's a terrible game. It's easy to platinum if you guys care about trophies. Within 3 hours you get it, but so it's a worrying thing, man. Because you see this from like say Rare Studios when Microsoft bought them out, and it's not the same thing, right? Because I believe Supermassive Studios is still its own independent studio. It's not owned by Sony, but it's being pushed as if it's like a second party or something, right?
Hey, Carlos, I'm gonna pause you right there. You said you were gonna make this quick.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyways, I just wanted to get that off my chest. We would have made it a big topic, but you haven't played the game, Ben. So maybe down the line we could kind of delve into this further. But
we'll cover it next week. How about that? We'll cover it next week.
It's just a worrying thing that Supermassive Games, they came out and did Until Dawn, which was a great game. Then they did the PSVR Rush of Blood game, and it's kind of like, man, they're just like kind of, because even the Inpatient, I don't think it got the greatest reviews. So now it's like 2 games in a row, and
Carlos,
Team is just not good. It's just not good, man. But we'll get I just want to get that off my chest. So we'll get into the big news. Don't buy Bravo team. So we'll get into the big thing this week. This past week, Nintendo Direct actually they published a new Nintendo Direct, which is not live. You know, it's not a live thing. It's something that is pre-recorded, and they just press the upload button or whatever it is, or go live button on YouTube. But they did announce a few good things for the 3DS. We can start off with that. Nintendo Direct, they announced WarioWare Gold, which includes 300 micro games for 3DS. That's coming out August 3rd, which looks kind of cool. I don't know. I've never really been the biggest fan of those games, but they're really quick. Put it in your system. This was basically WarioWare was before all the quick touch games kind of came around. This is what you were playing on your DS. So it's kind of cool that they're bringing it back August 3rd. Dalan's Dead Heat Breakers, which the demo is out May 10th and releasing on May 24th. This is actually like the third game in the series. It looks kind of cool. I don't know if you looked at this, Dalan's Dead Heat Breakers. It's like the third game, and apparently they're actually high quality games. It's just not at the forefront of Nintendo, you know, releases, but it's a new IP. This is the third game, and it's actually, I believe it's the first game that's going to release physically in stores. So if you guys are looking forward to that, it looks like a cool little racing game. It looks like they're throwing some story in there.
Yeah, it looks and like then they're going to RPG elements to it. It looked like an armadillo on a road rage.
It's like some crazy, like, you know what? I was looking at it and it's like, oh, it reminds me sort of like that late 1990s video games where it's like crazy characters, like, what are they doing there? Yeah, like you're saying, they're armadillos rolling down a path or whatever, racing or whatever it is, and there's some RPG elements. So it looks kind of cool. It looks like a little throwback of a game. I might actually check the game out, and the demo's out pretty soon, so I'll check that out. And I guess they're remastering Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story, so that's getting re-released in 2019, along with so it's Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. So I'm guessing that's like a little side quest, a little added bonus to the remake of the game that originally came out on DS, I believe. So they're re-releasing that in 20. I don't know why they can't release that this year. I mean, it's just a re-release, but
they wanted to have
here we are. But here we are. They'll have something. You'll have something to play in 2019 for your 3DS, Mario and Luigi. And then the next one is, I guess you were kind of pumped for this one. Detective Pikachu is going to be out March 23rd, which didn't have the longest preview period. I mean, we heard about it. I know there's a movie too that's happening, or an anime that's happening, I believe. But Detective Pikachu, I don't know. Did you look into it, Dalan? Like, what is the story? What's the whole thing? Or did you look into any more?
First off, I'm not going to say I'm pumped for this game. I watched the video for this. I was like, man, this basically looks like Detective Conan. If anybody out there watches anime, it looks like Detective Conan, but instead of a little kid, you got a Pikachu with a Sherlock hat.
Why are you not pumped? Or are you not a fan of whatever anime you just said, Detective Conan?
Well,
you're not.
No, I'm a fan of Detective Conan. As a matter of fact, I'm still watching that over 400 episodes, and I'm on like episode 300.
Well, there you go. You have a Pikachu style Detective Conan. There you go.
No, that's the only reason why I could play it. But then I heard the voice of Pikachu, and he sounds like, don't get me wrong, he sounds like a pedophile put into the body of a stuffed animal. I'm like, man.
Don't get you wrong. I'm gonna get you very wrong. All right, I'm gonna get you very wrong on that.
Listen to Pikachu when he talks. You'll know exactly what I mean.
He sounds like an older voice, right? Like it doesn't match, I guess, is the whole thing,
really
right? But I guess it's kind of cool in a way that the game's gonna have voiceover, right? What type of game is it? I really couldn't get a sense from the trailer. Did you get a sense of what it was?
It was more like a more interactive Sherlock story. So I don't know if you ever played any of the other Sherlock games that came out, but it's basically Sherlock for kids plus Pikachu.
Okay, so it's more that versus not like an Ace Attorney or nothing. Yeah, because right. I didn't see anything like that. It didn't look at all like that. But yeah, so you're not that pumped about it. It's out pretty soon, then in a couple weeks. So go ahead and pick it up.
I might try it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. So.
Yeah, you could GameStop rental it, man. You could buy it used and then return it within the 7 days.
Gamefly it for me.
I think I'll skip that. I'll probably have something in my queue for that because Far Cry's coming out. There's quite a few games actually at the late March that's coming out. So no, that's something else in the queue for that. So the next thing, Luigi's Mansion. Now Luigi's Mansion, this is actually the GameCube original. It's gonna be remade for the 3DS, and that's coming out this year. Did you ever play that one? Did you ever play the original GameCube release?
I did, and I couldn't understand the hype for it. I kind of hated that game. It was terrible.
Well, it was a game. It was a game that I don't know if you remember, but they had so Nintendo used to do a Space World, and when they announced the GameCube as Space World 2000, they actually showed a realistic looking Link, a demo called Mario 128, where there was a whole bunch of Marios. That probably was 128 Marios, and they're like, oh, this is what we can now do for the GameCube. And then what do they launch with? A Luigi game. This is Luigi's Mansion. Like, really, this is what we have for launch, but. I never got
underwhelmed by this.
Well, you know what? The original I've never tried, so maybe I give this one a try. But I did try the 3DS one, and I'm like, you know what? This is like an updated. This is supposed to be a better version, right? Even though it's on the 3DS, but it's a powerful enough system. I was like, I don't like the mechanics in this. I really don't. I don't dig this. So,
but Luigi Mansion, that was part of it. That was part of it. I just hated the mechanics. I kind of hated the story. I hated trying.
You didn't like the fact that it was sort of Ghostbusters-y in that sense. You didn't like that?
That part I didn't mind, but they made the game so difficult to try and get through that I was like, nah, I'd rather go play like something.
You're not getting down with that, is what you said. You're like, this is not for me.
No, I'd rather play Mario and Luigi's Bowser Inside Story.
so that's basically it, man. As far as the Nintendo Direct, there's a couple games, which is more than you can say for like say Sony and the Vita. So at least Nintendo is giving it a fair send off versus what Sony has done with the Vita. It just kind of disappeared off the map. So we go on to the next thing is the Switch. The first thing they led with was Kirby Star Allies, which is out next week on March 16. It's almost out. The demo is out now, and I know you tried it. And there's also going to be an update already. So they're already pumping new content out, man. I kind of like this new Nintendo, right? Or this version of Nintendo where they're just like, we're just going to keep updating this game. So on March 28th, they said there's going to be an update to it. They're going to add new characters. You tried the demo out, though, Dalan. What do you think of that?
Actually, it was pretty fun. It felt like one of the old school Kirby's, and this time it actually had a actual co-op element to it. Unlike there was another Kirby game that came out where he was in like a robot or something like that.
And they had 3DS, right? 3DS.
Yeah. They announced that there was going to be co-op in it, but it was just like 5 missions of you guys choosing like certain roles, like a mage and a knight and stuff like that. And as soon as you're done with the boss rush mode, that's it for co-op. The whole game was off to the side. You could only do that one play.
Now, I do have a question. I don't know if you could tell this from the demo, because, the demos, they're not really fully indicative of the game sometimes. But as far as is it challenging? Because, like I was saying, you're like, have you tried the demo? And I was like, you know what? I'm actually saving it to before I go to bed so it can put me to sleep. Because these games are like, they're so easy. They're so unchallenging that I'm like, this just puts me to sleep, man. This is a boring game. Did you get a sense of the difficulty, or what did you get a sense of that?
For gamers like me and you, that game is very easy.
So before I go to sleep today, I'm a pop it on, and I'm gonna have the Switch in bed with me, and I'm just gonna go to sleep to some Kirby, because
it's gonna be one of those.
It's mind numbing. It's mind numbing. How about that? It's mind numbing.
Yeah, for this game, you're gonna have like I would assume that when the game rolls out, there's gonna be like 2 or 3 irritating bosses for their different reasons. And other than that, you can just blow through the game.
Did you try co-op, or is co-op an option in the demo, or no?
Actually, I didn't get a chance to test that, so I will test that with you if you want.
Yeah, I would try that out. I would hope that it would actually at least ramp up the difficulty, right? Because that's really what's fun about co-op is a game when it's harder and you get to play it that way, and hopefully that's the case. But I don't know. It's Nintendo, man. Maybe it's just easier. It's already easier than easy. So we'll see. We'll give that a shot either when it's released, or maybe we could do it with the demo. But so next on the lineup here, so they announced Okami HD is coming out for the Switch this summer. Okami. You know what? I think I've talked about this before, but my brothers have the biggest nostalgia for Okami. I don't understand. It was 06, right? It was like at the very tail end of the PlayStation 2 era, and it looked beautiful. It was incredible. It's one of those games where you get to the console's end of cycle, and they're really taking advantage of how good things can look, and you're like, why do I need a PS3? It's like, well, you need a PS3 because in 2 years from now, that's when you'll see things that look much better than on PS2. But Okami HD, You can't skip the text, man. If you can't skip the text, that's one of those games where you get the little blah, 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 and then you die at some point, and
you gotta hear the whole thing over again.
Yeah, and you gotta hear the whole nonsense over. I don't know if they fixed that with the new one. I tried to ask one of our friends, Jeremy, who was on a couple episodes ago. I think he checked for it, and he was like, "Oh no, you can't skip." I was like, "Nope, never playing Okami ever again. That's it." I played on PS2, 30-hour game. I can put that to this. I remember how long that game was. It was long. It was long.
Did you actually do the whole thing? You got past the first Orochi and everything like that?
Man. Everything. Man. Completed everything.
3 bombs. You got all of it.
30 hours. Got all the abilities. Got all the everything. The Switch version looks kind of cool, though. You'll actually be able to kind of use the touchscreen to get the brushes, which was like
much easier.
It was ahead of its time, you could say, right? You were using the analog sticks, but you could say it was pretty much ahead of its time.
Well, they did a really good job with their analog sticks the way that they did that, so I was fine with it. And just you saying that that thing about the text, you reminded me of my terrible days with the game Heavenly Sword. Oh man, you could not skip those cuts.
At least that game looked beautiful, man, and it was pretty action heavy.
Hearing the same line over.
Yeah, but Okami was something else, man. At least Heavenly Sword, like it was audio, and you would just. So yeah, it was terrible. So next thing, they threw out Sushi Striker. I don't know if you know anything about it. We could just move on. Sushi Striker is coming out for the Switch June 8th. The next one, Octopath Traveler. That's finally has a release date. It's coming out on July 13th, and that's an RPG that has kind of a cool style, sort of a, I don't know what you could say, maybe a 2.5D sort of sprite-based combat, but it has cool effects, right? Based on what I've seen, it's kind of like 8-bit, but with cool modern effects to it. Or you tried the demo, right? Then what did you think of it? And that demo's available, so if you guys want to try it out.
Yeah, I actually tried that demo and the 2.5D. There was another game that recently came out like that. I think it was a Mega Man game or something like that. I know it was a side scroller doing 2.5D. But as I was playing this, it felt like Suikoden or something close to that. Actually, a better description.
Mention a Mega Man game. So I was powered up. Is that what you're talking about? Powered
Probably.
up.
I don't remember. There was one. That was 2.5D. I don't remember what it was. But either way it goes, hey, don't throw me off. It was the animation for it actually reminded me very much of the RPG Xenogears. I'm not talking about Xenosaga or all those other ones that came out. I'm talking about Xenogears.
I mean, you said the word, Dalan. I mean, you said the word. You didn't say Xenosaga. You said Xenogears.
People come at me for saying Xenogears and then look at me stupid and say, Xenosaga? You mean? I'm like, no, Xenogears. Xenosaga needs to be thrown in the trash. Octopath Traveler.
July 13th. Based on the demo, are you excited to possibly pick it up on your Switch?
Okay. Then really quick, let me actually get out the part that I meant to say because I went off on a tangent.
I know.
Sorry about that. Sorry. But it has 8 different characters that you can play. They all have their own separate stories, but their powers are interconnected. So you actually get like a dancer, and as you level up the warrior, you can actually get warriors moves on your dancer. And as you continue to level those up, you can continue to mix a matchup with all the characters, and you have to beat the story with all 8 of them. It's 8.
Are you grabbing it July 13th, Dalan? It's out in a couple months. Are you grabbing the game based on what you played of the demo?
Nah, but my cousin Chris is.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So you'll eventually play it, right? But you're not that hyped about it that you'll buy it.
I can wait for it. That's what it is.
All right, that's fair. So next up, another No More Heroes game, man. They keep finding funding for these games. It's Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, and it's an exclusive for the Switch. That's supposed to be out this year. It actually looks like it's not a fully 3D action game. It looks like it's different type of gameplay modes, all kind of mixed together. So you guys can look up the trailer, see if you're excited about that. It was supposed to be sort of like a raunchy type of pushing the boundary type of game, but I mean, we've seen that type of game. We see it now in games all the time, so it's really not that amazing anymore. Like we talked about Fear Effect, right, the other day, and it's like there was sex appeal or something like that to that game, but it's like now it's like, dude, that's like in every game or every other game. It's not a big deal. So that's coming out this year. That's an exclusive for the Switch. Dark Souls Remastered. So the thing about this one was, I think they had already said that it was going to be May 25th, right? The launch about it. But now they're saying that there's going to be a network test, so you guys will be able to try that out. I don't care enough about it. You're going to jump on the network test, Dalan?
Is it free?
Yeah, I should be. I mean, it might require a sign up or something like that, but it should be free. I have on the list.
I'm behind on Dark Souls games. I mean, the last one I played, I touched Dark Souls 2 for like 2 minutes. I just picked up Bloodborne again, but the last one that I actually really got into like that was Demon Souls, and that was before all three of those games. So I don't have much to say.
We'll see. It should be free enough. I mean, it might require a sign up. I know I have the news that they did announce it in this Nintendo Direct that they're gonna have a rewards program now, and we're actually gonna break it down in the updates because we had some little controversial conversations about that, but we'll break it down a little further in the updates. The next thing, they did showcase Mario Tennis Aces for a little while, which is kind of funny that on Twitter I saw that people were like, oh, it's cool, they gave us a Mario Tennis Aces showcase, and then they threw a bunch of stuff in there to trick us to watch this. But I don't know, man, it looks cool. I'm excited for a tennis game. I've always loved like virtual tennis, that kind of thing. And apparently they're gonna do a pre-launch online tournament, so it's gonna be kind of a demo, and we can try it out that way. The full game comes out June 22nd. Captain Toad is a game that just doesn't die. It's coming out July 13th. They're making a Switch version, which, you know, the weird thing, I don't know what it was for whatever reason. I think I rented it twice from GameFly, Captain Toad, and it never worked on my Wii U. It just never worked. I don't know what it was about the code. I blew on the disc. I tried to make it work. I could not make it work. So maybe I can finally play it on the Switch. You know, it's on a cart now.
I was looking at the video for it. Is it anything like Spelunking or whatever that game was?
No, well, I don't know if you could say completely different, but it is a game where you're kind of in a small little tiny world where you move the world around and you're kind of walking around, and it's a simple puzzle type of game, right? And you're trying to figure out how to get the little diamonds around the world. But Spelunky's a completely different thing, because Spelunky, you know, you dig down, right? You dig down and it's sort of a roguelike type of game in that sense. But no, this one is set levels. There's a couple of cute little bosses that you
remind me of when you say that. There was a game on the Vita. I think you could probably cross-platform it with the PSP or the PS4 or the PS3. I can't remember what system it was. But you would jump in the air and you could hit the R1 button and spin the screen. It was the only game that this guy ever made.
You talking about Fez? You talking about Fez?
Yeah, Fez.
Yeah, Fez. Yeah, if you guys care about Fez, there's a movie out called Indie Game the Movie, which is funny. I think that movie actually was popular enough to some of my friends that have never been into video games. They talk about that movie. I was like, hey, do you know about Indie Game the Movie? Like, you talking about Fez? You talking about Braid? You talking about Super Meat Boy? Because that's the whole movie, right? But yeah, if you guys care more about that, thanks. That's a little random fact. But yeah, it's not like that either. Captain Toad is not like that either. How about that? I'll throw that at you.
I appreciate it.
And then I call this the Naughty Dog collection, but it's really what is it called? You know what I'm talking about? Crash Bandicoot. So Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, that's coming out on July 10th on the Switch. And if you guys were quick enough, there was an Amazon Prime, like they do this actually more often than they would like, I bet. They did if you have Amazon Prime, you actually got the double discount. So I kind of, I took advantage of that. So the game was $25 for a short amount of time, but normally it's gonna be $40. So it's not, it's not too much in case you missed a little glitch. I'm looking forward to it. I might cancel the order though, because it doesn't have trophies, Dalan. So I don't know, but to have Crash Bandicoot on the go, though, I might keep it. It seems like it's pretty good. I mean, the concern would be like, well, does it run as well as it does on PS4 and Xbox? That's going to be the concern. So the next thing, that's out July 10th. Little Nightmares. You said I didn't put a date down on here. I'm pretty sure it's coming out soon in the near future. Dalan, what did you hit? You wanted to say something on Little Nightmares, right?
Yeah, what I wanted to say is I actually really wanted to play that game when I first saw it drop, because it had this animation type that was it was its own little puzzle game, and it had the same animation of things like Coraline and Frankie.
Creepy.
Yeah, that little creepy. You could call it creepy, but paranormal and stuff like that. So it had its own little stop animation. Why can I not remember his name suddenly? Tim Burton.
Talking about Tim Burton.
And then, it had that whole Tim Burton feel going on it.
We're doing this late night for people that are not watching it live. It's like 10:54 p.m. So
you thought this rundown was going to take 8 minutes. Go.
But yeah, Little Nightmares. I think that might be out. Don't quote me on this, but I think that might be out on other systems. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out on other systems.
Okay.
But it's coming.
So
it's going to be the complete version. That's what it is.
The Switch is like the port machine. The next couple games, I'm looking at the next couple games. South Park Fractured But Whole. It's coming out April 24th, which I know the creators were kind of like, they said it actually takes a lot of work, a lot of whatever it is to make it look that bad. So the fact that it's coming to the Switch means they actually made it work. They made it work on the portable system. It's coming out April 24th. And then another port, of course, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is definitive. I'll call it the definitive edition. It's coming out May 18th. If you guys want to pick that up, I don't. They're not.
You get all 29 characters.
Yeah. If you guys want a Muso game, but Legend of Zelda flavor, there you go, on the Switch, on the go. You know what? That is one of those cool, like, co-opable type of games, right? So if it's ever like $5 somewhere, I'll pick it up. And then there's the ARMS Online Open, which the game is out, but they're gonna give you a free weekend. It's gonna be I believe it's
March 8th to March
18th, but that's a
whole week.
It's like a whole week. But at some point, how about this? At some point, there's going to be a 3-day weekend or 3 days where you can play it for free. So look forward to that. And then Splatoon 2 is getting an expansion. It's getting a 3.0 update late April. And it's getting an X, quote unquote, X rank added. So that's higher than S+. So the highest right now is S+. It's going to be able to go to X ranking. And then the expansion called the Octo expansion, you'll get to play as Agent 8, which I believe is the octopus version of the Inklings. That's in summer 2018, $19.99, so it's $20, and it looks kind of cool. They're adding on to the single player, which is always what I prefer versus the multiplayer, which, that's kind of where the industry is going, just adding more multiplayer stuff. But this is pretty cool, man. I still got to get to the single player of Splatoon 2 and finally beat that. But you had something to say on this one, Dalan. Do you have Splatoon 2 actually?
No, I don't have Splatoon. I don't have Splatoon at all. But I was thinking, I watched the video like twice, and I was thinking, man, that's a great thing that they're having this expansion. But their design choices, I question a little bit. Because they got little girls in skimpy black outfits. With the hips gyrating and all this stuff. Like, man, that's very sexualized.
They're definitely pushing it in that commercial. So they should have put a disclaimer on that. But so after that, so $20 summer 2018 is going to be a single player expansion for Splatoon 2, which looks pretty cool. Besides the whole over-sexualized or the disclaimer warranted type of trailer that they put out, that's coming out. It should be pretty good. And then the next thing is they finally confirmed. We did talk about it before, so hey, we had the exclusive, right? Or we talked about it a little bit. But you see, Super Smash Brothers confirmed. About the only thing that was confirmed, of course, is that there's going to be Inklings in it now. So the Splatoon 2, a couple of the characters, a male and female, I'm sure is what's going to be in there. And Mario and Zelda, that's about it. And you just see their silhouettes. So Nintendo's confirming it's out. It's going to be out this year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a holiday thing. It's going to be bundled. People are going to go wild. Dalan, you're going to regret that you didn't wait for that bundle.
The day that the game dropped, or not the game, the day that the announcement dropped, they were already making memes of that video. And that fire symbol.
People are fired up. People are fired up. I mean, my favorite one, and I throw it into our group chat on our phone group chat, is the one that they made where the eyeball and they have the Death Stranding baby coming through it. That's my favorite one. I enjoy that one.
There was one that I saw that made me laugh. The girl staring up at the sky, or at least staring up at the flames, and it turns out to be the Hungry Bird symbol. So, what was it? Hungry Games. The Hunger Games. I can't say the name of that movie. The Hunger Games.
So what's the biggest thing? I think for me, it's Super Smash Brothers, man. I mean, we knew it. We sort of knew it, but it's nice that it's confirmed now. They'll probably dedicate the floor space to it at E3. I'm sure people are gonna be going wild for it. Holiday, that Nintendo's gonna have another good holiday. They're gonna bundle that thing in. It's gonna sell like hotcakes. So, but anything else on the list that you were thinking, oh man, that's gonna be good? I'm looking forward to that.
The one thing that's not on the list that I was looking forward to was Valkyrie.
We're talking about the Nintendo Direct.
It was on Nintendo Direct previously. But all right, the one game on this particular list that I was actually thinking about was Sorry, not Okami HD. Little Nightmares. That was the one that I really wanted to play.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of right up your alley, right?
It is. It really is.
So what do we got next, Dan? There was some big news. This was part of the controversy because we wanted to talk about verisimilitude, but I was like, "This is
man. You have no idea how to say. Just say Warhammer. Just stop.
I don't care. I don't care about the lore, man. I really don't. So what else was the big news this week, Dalan?
All right. Well, Ubisoft, however you want to say it, they revealed with a leak or a leaked press release that the Division 2 is that's being led by Massive Entertainment is in development, just officially in development, with the full reveal of the full game out in E3 this year, or at least later this year. They actually announced that there's going to be extended support for the original game. They're going to include Xbox One enhancements to support 4K for the TV. I guess they didn't have that before. I thought they had that already, actually.
Well, I mean, the Xbox One X came out, and games have been kind of updating themselves. So, yeah, so to the Xbox One actually isn't as powerful as the PS4 original. So now with the Xbox One X, they can actually push the frame rates, and they can actually make things go to 4K, which is the most. It was part of their marketing ploy. I mean, it's $500, so but they were talking about it's the most powerful console, and it's true in that sense. But games have to take advantage of it. So that's what that is.
Okay, well, aside from that, they're going to have 2 added global events to the original game, to the original game, and more legendary missions for items and gear. Previously, when I had looked up the Division 2 coming out, there was that hint for the Division 2 London Calling. So I was definitely down to play that particular type of the game. Because I want a different setting. I don't want to be stuck in New York or Manhattan or that whole area. It was actually an awesome thought to actually know that they might be spreading out, but there's really no details of where this one will specifically be located. So I'm still hoping it's going to be somewhere out in Europe or something like that. But it does bring back memories of the transition between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, because they were kind of side by side when these games came out. And Destiny 2, we all saw how that went down.
Well, there's always supposed to be the next Destiny, right? So Division 1 was kind of like, that was a big deal, right? It was like, oh, that's our next Destiny. We have our next addiction. We have our next fix. And then the last one that I can remember was with Monster Hunter. To me, it was like, oh, that'll be the next Destiny. It was like, but I go back to this, and we were actually arguing because the price for Destiny 2 is like $10, man. It's like bottom. It's rock bottom. And we're actually trying to convince a couple of our friends to like pick it up. We're like, the base game is still amazing. It's still a really good shooter. It's still a very good game. The problem, of course, is that people want a 500-hour game, and it's like, well, that's not what it is, but it is enjoyable
that's
for
not what it is.
40 hours for 50 hours. And of course, I can understand the disappointment because people are like, well, this is supposed to be sort of an MMO light or a share world or whatever they want to call it. So I get that disappointment, but it's kind of like with the Division 1, it was supposed to be the next Destiny. And to me, it wasn't, but it was fun enough to make it to level 30. And I think the end game is really hard, man. It's just with what Destiny 2 is dealing with is Division 1, the end game was going to the dark world for what? Where's the raids? And anytime they sell me wave-based anything, I'm like, that is not end game. That is you recycling assets. Stop recycling assets. Give me something fresh, which is what Destiny does. When they give you a raid, it's all completely assets. It's the first time you have seen these things when you jump into a raid because it's not part of the regular world. And I think that's sort of like for people that haven't jumped into the raid and like, what's the big deal with Destiny? It's like, oh, you got to jump into the raid. It's like you may have maxed out your level, but if you never hit the raid, it's like, dude, that's a whole different game that you're missing out on. So Division 1 didn't do it. Monster Hunter, I don't know. To me, it was a little too slow.
Hold up. Division 1 did do it.
No. I'm saying it didn't do it for me, as in like it didn't. Oh. It just didn't do the Destiny effect. It did have an end game.
Right. It didn't push your button right.
Yeah, it didn't have. But I mean, were you pumped? Because I gave you this story, and you're like, I don't care about the Division, but it's like, well, then it didn't do it for you either, right? Like what?
Well, at first it was great. It started out great, and it had all the little side missions you can do. You can go get all the collectibles. But once you've collected everything and finished the main story, the only thing you have left is going to try and murder things. And there's not really story-based stuff to actually do. And they have that raid thing, and it's very difficult. And you're going for the items. But then, again, once you hit max, you're like, What do I do now? Nothing.
And you know what hurts
over and over again.
So what hurt Division, I think one of the things that it's one of those things that people complain about with Destiny is like, why can't I trade with my friends? Why can't I do this? But in the Division, you remember, here, let me drop this weapon for you. Bam, yeah. You're maxed out. You're like, oh, let me just drop this one. I don't need it, but this is a max weapon that I don't like. You can have it. So the fact that you actually could do that actually, I think, lessened the thing. It's one of those things where like we like the gambling or the, you know, quote unquote gambling aspect or the roll of the dice of Destiny, where you're like, oh, I wish I could have that. It's like, oh, well, I can't really give it to you. You just got to keep playing and hope for the best, right? But Division ddid away with that, where they were like, nah, you could just have it here. If your friend drops it for you, here, you can pick it up.
You got 1 hour, but you got to be on my team when I get it.
Because I know, I mean, I was trying to jump back in with you guys, right? And I was like, oh, what is it going to take for me to max out? And you're like, no, don't worry. I'll just give you the weapons. So like, why maxed out? What's the point of doing the activities then if what's the reward, right? So but as far as there's no real details, right, on Division 2. It's just they're confirming that it's coming. We'll get something more on E3. What can Division 2 do for you that Division 1 didn't do, I guess? What would pull you back into?
That was the big question that Destiny 1 had when it transitioned to Destiny 2. But for Division 1 starting in June, players will be able to start earning crests that they can use to unlock rewards for Division 2. So that even gives them more incentive to continue to play this Division 1.
They'll transition that way. But besides that, because I know you've given up on Division, I think you might have even traded it in, right?
I did.
At this point. So what takes you, what would pull you into Division 2? It's not the transfer of whatever, well, besides, you know, your save game or whatever, but what would pull you into Division 2, I guess, that Division 1 didn't do?
Well, Division 1, after you beat the main story, there are these raids that you can go do that you just kind of jump into it and try and murder these extremely heavy bosses. And don't get me wrong, it was fun to try and kill these bosses with your friends with no story or real side thing to really know what's happening. But there was really no story for this. It was go into a compound and murder whatever it is and survive these waves of enemies. So
wave-based. Yeah, I hate that stuff. Yeah.
and the enemies kept getting gradually harder and harder. Then they ruined it when they changed the way that the weapons and perks worked. And I was so mad at that I dropped the controller and walked in.
But I mean, it seems also so you would like more of a story, more of a reason to play it, right? It's kind of
don't get me wrong. The story would really help the game, like adding story, like immersive stories to these massive expansions that they decided to release, but they didn't add any story to it. And then for the weapons that they did have, it made it way different when your perks interacted with your friends. For example, you could have put incendiary bullets on your gun.
It just didn't do it for you, Dan. The end game. So we can move on because we're like 40 minutes in.
I'm going to say this one thing. This one perk that really made me angry. This was like the main reason why I stopped. The incendiary bullets, you could actually set enemies on fire and it would stun them for a minute.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was a nice little thing.
But now you can put incendiary bullets in your gun, but they don't stun anybody. They're just fire bullets that are just hot. They're just hot bullets.
So you want more of an incentive, and you want it to matter, and you want the perks to actually.
I want the perks to actually matter, but they didn't. The perks didn't matter.
So now you know what people are hoping to matter is that Valve apparently it wants to start shipping games again, but no confirmation of Half-Life 3.
How did you make that transition? I don't understand.
Just to move on, man, we're like 30 minutes. Hey, that Nintendo Direct did take a while.
I told you.
So Valve is starting to ship games again. According to GameInformer.com, this was at a reveal event for Artifact, which is an upcoming digital card game set in the Dota universe. Valve CEO Gabe Newell. By the way, Gabe Newell looks old, man. I mean, I'm getting old. Whatever is happening here, I'm getting old.
I see your gray hairs.
But there's one like right here somewhere. I'll show it to you in real IRL at some point.
You're getting really George Clooney on us, man.
But salt and pepper, I guess. I'm getting distinguished is what I call it. But Gabe Newell is looking old, man. But anyways, Gabe Newell, he was talking about his company and made a statement that will surprise and possibly excite those who have followed the company's output. So this is a quote: Artifact is the first of several games that are going to be coming from us. So that's sort of good news. Hooray. Valve's going to start shipping games again, unquote. This from Gabe Newell. Was like, man, you needed to have done something. The last game, Dan, the last original game from them was 2011's Portal 2, was the last single player game Valve put out, and the next few games are like, they might be in the Half-Life universe, but they're gonna be VR based, which is cool, especially for our friend Jeremy, who's deep in the VR rabbit hole at this point. So
does Valve just not like hitting part 3s of games because they got Half-Life 1 and 2 and then they stop? They got Portal 1 and 2 and then they stop. I'm like, where's my Portal 3? I need it.
I mean, maybe maybe they get to a third. They were working on 3 though, right? There was Half-Life or was that Half-Life 2 Episode 1 or whatever they titled it? But there was an Episode 1, Episode 2, and then they're like, well, where's our Episode 3, right? It's supposed to be a trilogy. Basically. They're never getting around to that, man. But it's no confirmation of Half-Life 3, but they're saying they're shipping games, man. And this, according to Game Informer, they said they're going to be VR-based games. So we're getting little experiences from them, I guess, going forward. So be excited for that. Anything else for that, Dylan?
No, man, I'm just waiting on Portal 3. That's it. All right. So
I'm waiting on Half-Life 3, but Portal 3, yeah, sure. I'll grab some Portal 3.
I missed out on the Half-Life hype, but I didn't miss out on the Portal hype. So there you go.
All right. So what else, Dan? We'll keep this at a smooth clip.
Okay, another thing.
Nintendo got us. Nintendo got us.
Another thing coming out. It's going to be free in this case. Is Far Cry 5's arcade mode. Very much reminds me of Blood Dragon because that came up for free on the PS3, I think. It'll be a free multiplayer campaign.
They charged you, man. I mean, it could have been PlayStation Plus or something. Yeah, no, I mean,
I guess PlayStation Plus. I got it for free on PS Plus.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been PlayStation Plus or something, but they charged at some point for that game, which wasn't much. It was like $10-15, but it was a good little experience.
Okay, anyways, the little side game that they launched on that at that point was actually pretty cool. But now they're doing Far Cry 5's arcade mode, so it's going to be free. It's going to have multiplayer, campaign, co-op. It's going to be 12-player PvP, which I assume means that they're going to have 6 versus 6 players. All these modes can be played with their own their new map editor, which I believe is probably their biggest selling point of it.
Oh yeah, man, it's big. Oh, yeah. It's big.
They're gonna have over 9,000 items. It's gonna include things of objects that you can just place in your world. That's gonna have things from Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5, Primal, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, Unity.
Think of how crazy that is, though, man. I mean, there's been creative modes since like Tony Hawk 2. And those were like little tiny boxes. These guys are talking about giving you assets from Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 assets for you to play around with in the world, and other people could join you online, right?
So it's basically Mario Maker for the first-person shooter.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big deal, man. I think it's really big, and I believe, I don't know if you saw it, but you should be able to share it, right? I believe, or is it just going to be within your group?
You could share it. It's going to be on their network. They're going to have their own company made maps.
Yeah, or like things that they're sponsored that they're pushing up to the top, right? Like the cream of the crop type of stuff.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the ones that the owners
they themselves make.
They themselves made, like Rockstar created their own maps for the game, but then other people create maps and put it up online. They're going to do the same thing with this, that they're going to create a couple of maps, then other people are just going to upload all their crazy maps of whatever the heck they come up with, and it's going to be the craziest thing of going in with your team of 12 people trying to destroy these maps. You're going to have a half-sunken city underwater.
You're convinced, right? You're grabbing it because I know you said you're not grabbing. You said you were on the fence.
I'm not getting Far Cry 5. But I will get Far Cry 5's arcade mode.
Wait, is it a separate? It's not a separate thing, right? You got to buy Far Cry 5.
I assume it's going to be a digital release.
Nah, man, you got to buy Far Cry 5.
All right, if I have to buy Far Cry 5, I will go out of my way to buy Far Cry 5 for
That's what pushes you over the edge. Then, if it has the arcade, I think it's really cool, man. I think it's really cool. It's going to be awesome to see what people come up with. The game looks pretty good, and it seems so contemporary, even though. They've been working on it for 3-4 years before Trump was elected, but it just seems so contemporary, right? It seems so of its time. And actually, one of the things, I don't know if you saw it, but apparently Far Cry 3 is fully playable in Far Cry 5. There's actually, you can go up to an arcade cabinet or something like that and just pull up to it and you're playing Far Cry 3, which is one of the better Far Cries of the series. It's when it really got crazy.
They're basically dumping everything good about their series into this game. They're like, let's just mash it all together and let's see how much you like about it. Go play, go nuts, put it up online, break it up. Let's see what other people do. And
now, Now, this is one of those things, right? This is one of those games where you could actually fight for is like it's worth more than $60, right? But they're
It really
still
is.
gonna charge $60. So, the games are relatively cheap, like we've talked about before. I mean, of course, $60 is still $60. Let's not get that twisted, but it's still relatively cheap for the entertainment you got.
If their service works, it doesn't matter that it's $60.
Yeah.
They could have charged like $100 for this if they wanted to, but they only charged $60. Thank you very much for not charging more on us on this. This is a great game.
I'm just saying. Don't throw too much at them, Dalan. Just be like, we'll check it out. You got to be pretty serious about it. You got to be like, yeah, we'll check it out. We'll see how good it is. I know.
Anyways,
you're a lot at us.
Anyways, it drops March 27th this year. So yeah, it's very soon. As a matter of fact, that's the end of this month.
We're gonna have to get that. Hey, maybe that's our next Destiny. Maybe I'm always hoping. I need my fix, Dalan. Destiny 2 hasn't given it to me, so I need my next fix. Maybe this is the next Destiny.
I thought you were stuck on Monopoly. Is that why you're stuck on Monopoly?
Monopoly is just good, man. And don't get me talking about Monopoly, Dalan. Monopoly is like real life. You're always like trading. You're always giving something up for some. And then you understand that some people are so hyped about the blues that you got to tell them, oh, that guy's starstruck. You got to give him the blues. He's going to give me 2 of these red. The guy that we beat the other day, because we collude on Monopoly, right?
Hey,
the guy
man, don't be giving away trade secrets, man.
They'll give away trade secrets. Anyways, people are starstruck. Don't be just starstruck with the blues. You got to use some strategy out there. But that's a good segment. That's a good segue to move on to updates. We're
starstruck.
A starstruck. So the next thing, the first thing in the updates is the creative director of the upcoming God of War, Cory Barlog, said that there will be no microtransactions in the game. He said, this is quote, "No freaking way!" 3 exclamation points, unquote, on Twitter in response to a fan asking if you had to, pay to play in any way. So that's confirmation that God of War is not going to have microtransactions, which is a pretty cool thing. Sony's been doing this. I think you can kind of give sort of credit to Sony. They did it with Horizon. You didn't really get microtransactioned out. They were pretty fair. They're like, here's an expansion, pay us $20, boom, go about your business, right? So anything on that, Dalan, I guess, before we move on to the next thing?
No.
All right, we'll go next thing. So this is what we had mentioned during our 35-minute Nintendo Direct breakdown. And a guy on Twitter, Mario64, mathed it out for us. But apparently, as far as the My Nintendo Gold Points, which is a new thing Nintendo instituted, they used to have a different customer reward system. But now Warrior64 on Twitter, he mathed it out and he said to get a $60 game back using My Nintendo Gold Points, he says, quote, buy $1,200 worth of games on the eShop or $6,000 worth of physical Switch games within 1 year to get a free $59.99 game on the eShop. So
that's like 10
I know.
Or something like that.
I know at first, Dalan, I know you were telling me it's like well, you didn't say it in these exact words, right? But you're like, I get so many points. Like, no, Dalan, they're not that generous. And we even broke it down. We busted out our Switch and we're like, oh, I only have like $1. I only have like $1.
I had 60 points, which translated to 60 cents. So each point is 1 cent. That's all you really need to know in that respect.
Well, it's simpler than that. It's simpler than that, right? I mean, you could say move the decimal point a couple points. Every 100 coins that you have, digital coins, it's $1, right?
That's really, what I'm talking about. Each point is 1 cent.
Which is to say, I'm thinking about it now. It's like I register my Mario Kart. They only give me like 60 coins, man.
Yeah, they only give you 5% of physical games, right? Or
yeah, but it's 5% of $60. I think it's what it is they're trying to give you something for retroactive games, but going forward, they're gonna start considering this system. And it's one of those things where like don't take it that serious. It's buy the games you're gonna buy, and then I think you can use the coins though for a discount though. I don't think you actually have to accumulate because I was looking into the store thing. So in that way, it's kind of cool that you treat it as sort of a discount. Say you're buying a $20 game and you have enough coins to take $2 off, treat it that way. I don't know who's going to spend $1,200 or $6,000 worth in a year of just Nintendo product, but
hey that's your games coming out. You buy each game at full price, $60.
No, Dalan, don't do this to yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt yourself in your confusion, man. No, just don't do it.
That's 20 full price games. That'll get you to $1,200. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, just buy what you want. just reasonably buy what you want. If you don't want it, don't try to add up the points and get random stuff just because you want a quote unquote free game. Just buy what you want.
Don't get random stuff. That's the worst idea ever. Because then you're gonna end up with a bunch of games you'll never play. You just waste.
Which is what you, I think, were trying to figure out just now. I think this is what you were trying to figure out just now. Nah. How to get random games to get Sonic Mania. It's like just buy Sonic Mania. I was not gonna get random games. Just buy Sonic Mania.
I just thought that they had a specific price for how much each game would cost. Because I thought one of the lower price games was, for example, there was a game that was online for like $3, and it said that it only cost 60 coins to get, or at least it said 60 coins there. But what I didn't understand is that it would probably just give you 60 coins if you bought it.
Well, the thing is, I had to clear that up really quickly for you. I was like, wait, you're very confused. They're not that generous with this kind of stuff ever. Ever. Any type of rewards thing, there's never generous. But anyways, clear that up. It's sort of it's cool for a discount. Otherwise, just kind of don't even think about it. The next thing, apparently Square Enix is not really thinking about this, or they're barely starting to think about this. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a long way out. According to US Gamer, a recent job listing from Square Enix indicates the studio is on a hiring spree. Quote, while we are reaching a satisfactory level in terms of reproducing the original title and high-quality graphics, we have come to the conclusion that we should aim for even higher quality in order to meet the expectations of fans, the job listing states. It then puts out a call for, quote, core members of various positions such as, now this is what they need, Dalan, to get this game going or finish, quote unquote.
No, I think it's just
they need a level planner, battle planner, designer, engineer, and then etc., including existing members of the development team, unquote. In other words, Square Enix is looking to hire the kinds of people who actually turn games from wishes and ideas into tangible things.
You know how I feel about that? I feel like the people that were working on Final Fantasy 15 took away from the staff because they're still trying to make stuff for Final Fantasy 15. I don't think they expected 15 to be as big as it was. And
whatever it is, it was supposed to be like an episodic thing, right? So we were supposed to get Final Fantasy 7 Episode 1, which would, I don't know, cover, how long is that game actually? Is it it's not the longest RPG ever, right?
No, if you really just go through the core of the game, you could probably beat it in about 35, 40 hours.
If you critical path it like me. So every episode, if they do 3 or 4 episodes.
Not if you don't, even if you don't critical path it, but it's just a matter of
whatever it is. It's not the longest game, right? So, but we're supposed to get these into episodes, and they're basically talking about they're just getting the wheels greased up just now. They're just starting up, and it's like this game was announced like 3 years ago, so. Yeah, I mean, we'll go
turning into the next Final Fantasy 15. We're gonna wait 10 years for this game.
It will be like either like it will be like PlayStation 6 territory at that point. No, we'll be at that commercial. I don't know if you remember the commercials when the PlayStation 2 came out, where they had the little glows, PlayStation 9 or whatever. We'll be during PlayStation 9 era by the time this comes out, man. So just don't have your hopes up about it. The next thing that's been around for a while and is getting a new release. There's going to be a new Grand Theft Auto 5 release, according to Kotaku UK. This is from an anonymous source. GTA 5 Premium Edition is prepping for an April release after initially having a March 23rd release date. The Premium Edition will include 4 years of DLC, like the Criminal Enterprise Starter Pack, which was paid DLC release in December 2017. So this is like a 6-year-old game at this point, man, and they're still churning money. It prints money. It prints money at this point. So the DLC is paid, I guess. Is that what it is? I guess this is what you're paying, like to have some cash when you start.
What it is there was DLC that you could buy as the game progressed. They were releasing other DLC.
So it is value add. It is value add. The fact that you pay $40, $60, and you actually get things that you would have actually spent $10-15 on or whatever it is over time.
A good $20 for an expansion. But I was actually wondering whether or not they were going to give you the extra cash bonuses that came with some of these releases.
I would think, right? I would hope. I mean, you're really re-releasing the game.
That's like $2 million just off the bat for buying.
Yeah, this shit. It should be like. I mean, you know what? I mean, they could do it where, because what's virtual currency to them, right? They could be like, buy the new game and you get 2 million credits or whatever, and then people that already have the game are like, wait, I know how much 2 million credits is. I'm gonna go out and buy that game. So I don't know. They could do that, right? Why not do that?
That's enough for a take.
Yeah, why not do that? The next thing, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So that was, we talked about it, but it's we're getting from changing experience according to Activision. The community reveal event, that's May 17th. They're gonna do it via live stream, and the global launch is October 12th. So and they're not getting anywhere close to that Red Dead Redemption 2 blast radius. So they're right before it. It's right before it launches. And this is the first Black Ops since 2015, and it's being developed by Treyarch. I'll mess with it. I'm down. Are you gonna mess with the new one?
Well, I kind of skipped out on Black Ops 3. I was kind of done after Black Ops 2 and their whole.
You know what? I think I have Black Ops 3 lying around. I probably have to go back and beat the campaign on that. I mean, at some point,
practice. You need practice.
At some point, they just all blend together. I'm like, you know what? I think I've seen this before. I think I've already beat this, and you just give up on it. But I'm looking forward to it. I do. I like the fact that Call of Duty, they switch it every year. Every year is a different thing, different developer. Hopefully, it's fresh, and then we'll get World War II again forever for the next 10 years.
That being said, let's talk about Battlefield 5.
So the next one, new Battlefield 5 details. I said it right that time. New Battlefield 5 details emerge via GamesBeat. So a couple details that GamesBeat uncovered. The number one thing is campaign will be similar in structure to Battlefield 1's episodic, multi-perspective approach to storytelling, which I thought it was pretty cool. It was really short. You played through Battlefield 1 day in the campaign?
I played the very beginning of it. I saw the episodic thing that was going on.
Yeah, it's vignettes. You could have beaten it.
Switch of characters. It was so weird to me at first, but I got used to it.
It's pretty cool, man, and it was nice and short too, nice and rental friendly. Is
what
I like to say.
Fluid. Like when you died, you picked up with another guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. That. So that's what they're gonna be doing, and it's sort of weird that they're calling it Battlefield 5 when it's really the sequel to 1 in that sense. So that's what it's going to be. They kind of wanted to have that smooth transition over from 1. They want to make the game consistent, including returning voice actors like Catherine Kingsley, who voiced in the multiplayer mode. So it'll transition you into the new game if you're still playing Battlefield 1. And also co-op is in the cards, which would be a special conquest mode, which will task teams of players to run through randomly generated conquest missions. And you know what that sounds like to me, Dalan? Wave-based modes. All right, so I don't know if I'm down for that kind of.
That is your pet peeve in any video game.
Like I said, man,
two things: wave-based and tower defense. That'll shut you down.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I love me some Insomniac. They make some of the best games in the world. Spider-Man, it's probably gonna be no different. That should be good. But that's actually Sunset Overdrive. As soon as they hit tower defense, wave-based modes, I'm like, I'm out. I'm ejecting this. I love Insomniac. So if Spider-Man, if they even dare, Dalan, if they dare to throw in some tower defense mechanics or wave-based modes, I'm out. I'm ejecting that disc, sending it out. I'm probably gonna gamefly that thing, actually, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it, just in case they try to throw that mess at me. But we'll move on. But I digress. I digress. So the next thing is Oculus Rift owners got hit with a glitch that inadvertently allowed a software certificate to expire. According to Rolling Stone, quote, Oculus came up with a solution that requires those impacted to download an executable from the company, run the program, and repair the software with it, unquote. And it's also providing a $15 credit to those users impacted by the issue. So what I'm guessing is, I don't know too much about it, but the software certificate is really kind of what like the PlayStation does, right? With the PlayStation Plus things where you actually get the quote unquote certificate that game can run on your system for a year before you have to log in and recertify it, right?
The certificate is a script that's run for computers. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm going to get technical here for a minute. But
don't get you wrong, or let's have patience with you.
Be patient for anybody who's not technologically up to date on PC lingo.
Because you are, Dalan.
Yeah, but to make it simple, the certificate is what shows that what you have is legitimate. So the moment it's gone, it's no longer legitimate, and then the system reads it and says, "Okay, we need to shut this down because it's not legitimate." If that got mass produced across the entire system, oh man, your whole thing.
Which is a trip, right? Which is a trip. It's like it went across, like the whole thing. Which is weird to think that when you get these certificates, like it should be user based, right? It should be per person, right?
No,
like,
it doesn't go per person. It goes
doesn't
per
work that way?
file. It goes per file, and it actually links to the IP address. So if your IP address no longer has that certificate, then it's just going to be your system that goes down. But if there's a mass sending to all certificates saying that you're no longer valid, then the game's not going to work. The game is there, all the components there. All you need is a certificate that says yes, you can play. That's all.
I like to think people were getting down with like Res Infinite. I think that's out on PC, and they were just bumping hard in VR. And they're like, wait, what is happening? What is this shutdown mode? But it might not work that way, right? It might have been like they turned it just, or I don't know. It said it shut down on them, man. So maybe they were deep into the VR experience, and they're like, what is happening now? I'm done.
There was one VR video I was watching. It became like a little meme online, and it cracked me up. Well, there was a guy who was playing Kingdom Come, the Deliverance game. He was playing it in VR, and he was like, all right, I'm going to fight you. And this guy, he hit him with a sword, and as soon as he got hit on the head with the sword, that game went black. And then it came up with an arrow logo. He was like, he hit me so hard, he broke my game.
He hit me up hard. Yeah, so it's, but they're getting it fixed. It's an unfortunate thing. It really is what happens. I know we were making fun of our friend in the chat where we were like, PCs, man, you love your PCs. This is what happens. But there's a thing, like I said, it could happen on a PlayStation, right? So it could be that, right? Is it not the similar thing on the PlayStation where how you have the little lock on the thing and you got to recertify, right? It's what it's doing when it pings the server, right? To say you have a legitimate copy or this copy is yours, right? Or it's not, it's a completely different thing.
It's the thing that just says you have a legitimate copy. That's basically
all right. But yeah, so it can happen, but this is what you got to deal with, man. If you're a PC gamer, it's what you got to deal with. I'm sorry. At least you guys are getting $15 credit. At least you guys are getting a $15 credit for your troubles, right? So next, the mega hit, which is taking over PUBG. We've talked about this before. Fortnite Battle Royale is coming to mobile, which will do crossplay with PS4, and so it's gonna be mobile, PC, Mac with PS4, and then since Sony doesn't want to play nice, these are going to be particular to PS4 to PC and Xbox to PC. It's all mixed up, commingled. But the sign up started this week, and gamers will start getting download codes over the quote coming months, unquote, according to Epic Games. And it's one of those things. Did you sign up to get the game? Because I signed up. I shot them my email. We'll see if I play. It looks okay. I mean, I saw the trailer. I don't know if you got a chance to check out the trailer for it, but it looks okay. I mean, it's a terrible. You're gonna be doing dual shock or dual analog type of setup on a touchscreen. It's never gonna work as well as the tactile feeling of a dual shock or anything like that. But I mean, it looks playable, and it looks like the graphics are gonna hold up, and it's gonna be able to do crossplay. Are you grabbing it? Are you gonna throw them your email to get a chance at this?
I actually thought about it for a while, but I don't even play the current Fortnite as it is, so I don't think so.
But what if you had it? Oh, you know what the problem is, though? You don't have unlimited on your phone, right? So it's really, you're never going to touch this.
Well, I can play it at home all I want, though, because I have my network at home.
But at that point, why not just get on your PlayStation?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's actually what I'm thinking about.
I don't hop on it.
So this is that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's like, this is on the go. I do have like unlimited or whatever, so I'll jump on, I'll check it out. We'll give you some. If we do happen to get it early, we'll talk to you guys about it. The next thing is Diablo 3 is. I thought this was more confirmed than it was, but then I researched it a bit, and it's coming to Nintendo Switch according to Eurogamer sources. Now, this all came up because Blizzard at some point teased the port with a tweet that said, quote, or they teased the image, right? And they said something like "Sweet Dreams" or "Good Night" or something like that, and they teased as if Diablo 3 was coming to the Switch, and then they took it out, and then they said this tweet was meant to be a fun engagement piece. We don't have any plans to announce Diablo for Switch. But then again, Eurogamer says that they have sources with knowledge of the project. He says, quote, told me they were surprised to see it as the game's reveal remains several months off. So if you guys are interested, Diablo 3 is coming out to the Switch soon enough, according to Eurogamer sources. So, it just depends how much you trust Eurogamer, unless you think they're fake news.
Unless you think they're fake news. Good job on using the term fake news. Right?
You know what? Diablo 3 might be something I'd be down to get, man. I mean, I talk about it doesn't have trophies, but the Switch is the perfect multiplayer system, you know, whether it's I'm watching a TV show and then I pop on Rocket League or whatever it is, you know, I'm watching a late night show and I can hear it over the speakers and play on Rocket League or whatever. I don't, maybe Diablo 3 is one of those. I mean, if you jump on, the homies jump on, I'm down, but it doesn't seem like you're getting on right. To know Diablo 3 on the Switch.
Not Diablo 3. I've seen people play it. They went OP in like the first 2 days. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
So Diablo 3, if you guys are interested, it should be coming out according to Eurogamer sources. The next thing
I will say this: Diablo 3 was a good game. So if anybody likes Diablo, you should definitely pick up Diablo 3 because it definitely
you should pick it up on. You should pick it up on the port machine on the port. On the port NVIDIA Shield port machine. The next thing, this should be. I don't think you have what's happening here. Oh, there you go. It looks like so Dalan is showing us the Bluetooth adapter from 8-bit Do. It allows you to plug in a DualShock 3 or a DualShock 4 or I believe a different combinations of controllers. You can plug it into the Switch. It's available now at Amazon for $20. It looks like a little brick from Mario, I guess, a little brick box or whatever for Mario. It
says that it can be used on the Switch, Windows, of course, Mac, Raspberry Pi, and I don't know what an OTG cable. Oh, it comes with an OTG cable.
But ultimately, we're just not trying to pay $70 for Nintendo's controller, right? So you pay $20.
$20 for this. $20.
So you pay $20 and use your existing PlayStation controller. Are you grabbing one of those? Because I know you don't have the official Nintendo controller, right? Do you think you'll be grabbing one of these?
Do I need one now? Do I need a Pro now?
I mean, you haven't grabbed you need it for. I mean, like I said, you can use the 8-bit.
The look on your face said, "I don't think you need it now that they have this."
Well, I'm saying it just depends. You don't play Rocket League on it. Like for games that you need that sharpness.
It's $20. I need to spend.
It's the perfect price, man. The perfect price. And on the go.
Or I'm not trying to double up on them. I know you double dipped yourself.
I like quadruple dipped on that game. I have for PlayStation, Xbox, PC, on the Switch. The Switch is perfect, man. It doesn't have any trophies, but it's perfect on the Switch.
After this, we gonna play some Rocket League.
I guess we can get down with that. So let's finish this. So Amazon sells it for $20. I think that's probably the route you're gonna go right now instead of paying $70 for the Pro. Definitely. Get the little 8-bit Do. And this is the next one. So I titled this as Dalan cares about the lore. Mario is officially a plumber again. Nintendo had changed Mario's occupation to adventurer last year. And according to a Reddit post, they actually dug through Nintendo's profiles or whatever it is of Mario. And they noticed that Nintendo adjusted Mario's profile now to revert him back to plumber status. So I think you're pretty glad. You should be glad to know, Dalan. He's a plumber yet again.
After all these years of saying your favorite plumber is back and your super plumber is here, making all these other memes of him as a plumber, holding a plunger, beating up enemies. Why wouldn't he be a plumber?
I understand why it's upsetting.
I wouldn't have an adventurer with his main tool as a plunger. That's kind of nasty. Knowing he's a plumber, though, I'm not mad.
It makes sense. If he
held a wrench, I wouldn't be upset if they changed him to adventurer.
It's consistent with the style. It's consistent with his life. Like, why is he just an adventurer? Why is he wearing the overalls? Why is he doing all these? Why is he going down tubes and all this stuff? You know, why is he doing all this? You question,
why is he Italian? Why is he might be Hispanic.
You question your own existence. You question your own existence with this if he's just an adventurer. So anyway, for anybody that cares about the lore, Mario is officially, or according to a Reddit post that translated it, that dug through Nintendo's profiles of Mario, he is once again a plumber. So there you go. There's no two ways about it. The next thing, this is a rumor, but it's sort of kind of confirmed. Witcher 3's Geralt is supposed to show up in Soul Calibur 6. On Twitter, CD Projekt Red community manager Marcin Momo said, CD Projekt Red is who works on Witcher 3, quote, "What if Geralt was going to step out of the Witcher game for the very first time to make an appearance in one of the upcoming games later this year?" He said upcoming fighting games. And then another source, Let's Play Video Games, confirms. They said The Witcher's Geralt of Rivia is to be the guest character in Bandai Namco's Soul Calibur 6, writes Let's Play Video Games Joe Parlock. A few weeks ago, anonymous sources contacted LPVG with this information. However, while we have vetted the sources to be legitimate, acquiring the further evidence required for publication proved difficult until today, that is. So I guess they got enough proof to say that. Geralt, I talked to you a little bit about it. You don't really know who Geralt is or anything like that.
Is that the main character? I don't even know his name. What's his name?
So Geralt is the main character. Geralt is the main character. That's super. He's super. I'm sure you've seen the picture of him, right? At least his image of like.
I played The Witcher, but I haven't had enough time to really recognize his name.
He's a super distinguished guy. He has very graying hair, right? So,
super distinguished. No, that's the way when he gets older. He's got black hair when you start.
And there's like plenty of like bathtub scenes in that game.
That guy ages. Such a trip.
It's a trip. He ages. Good job, Dalan. So he'll be aging well in Soul Calibur, right? So yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how he plays, right? I mean, he plays a certain way in his action.
They'll give him his white hair. That's
what do you think he'll most closely resemble as a style of fighter? Who do you think he'll fight like?
Honestly, I'm not even worried about him. I'm worried about the rest of the game and whether or not their mechanics.
I get all that, Dalan. But specifically, Geralt, what do you think based on his style, based on his shape, based on his whatever?
He'll probably play a little bit like Nightmare, especially if they give him the long sword. Yeah. Or there's a guy.
Like a big character, though, right? It's like a big, big lunky character or plunky or whatever you call it. Nightmare is like a big character, right? Like a big lumbering sort of character.
Well, he's got a bunch of armor on, but he's really quick if you know how to use him. Nightmare or Siegfried, more likely Siegfried because he's got his knight status going on. There's Hilda who uses her spear, so he might have some close moves like her.
You've gone off the deep end. I know you got off the deep end. I apologize, but Geralt. So he should be in the game. Hopefully,
and maybe he'll be like Necro if anybody knows who Necro is.
Right. So there you go. He'll play like those guys. The next thing we got.
You have no idea who I'm talking about.
We got a couple more things, and then we'll be out of here. We're making some okay time. I mean, Nintendo got us. Nintendo got us.
Anyways,
so there's a $375 Inside Collector's Edition, which is a big question mark. And I don't know if the pre-orders went up already, but Collector's Edition will include a PlayStation 4 disc, Steam codes for Inside and Limbo for PC, well, for Steam. And it's a collaboration with, now, this is a big spoiler warning, just for the next like minute or 45 seconds. If you haven't beat Inside, kind of skip forward. Real Daw, who according to Engadget is known for making lifelike human replicas, replete with the softest skin you'll feel this side of the Uncanny Valley. So these guys make sex dolls, Dalan, or they make sex toys. Is what they do. And you played Inside, right? There's a certain creature at the very end of it. I'm pretty sure that's what they're including in this box, without you saying that many details about it. You know what I'm talking about? The big amorphous type blobby thing. That
what?
I'm pretty. You remember it, right? Just to not give a spoilers. You know what I'm talking about at the very end of the game. Right?
Yeah. You're talking about the big white
I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna be in this box, man. It's gonna be gruesome. It's gonna be nasty. So, I mean, if you want the privilege of that, for those who heard the spoiler, if you want the privilege of having that memorabilia in it, go ahead and drop $375 for that, man. It's going to be interesting. And we'll end it on this. Are you grabbing the
last thing? You didn't want to say that last thing?
No. That's just. Did you? Are you grabbing that, Dylan? Are you gonna put in a pre-order for the Inside Collector's Edition for $375?
With a real doll? No, I'm not gonna get that. What the heck?
Not mess with that. It's like that's like 5-6 different games. You get double, triple dip on Rocket League, man.
Now that reminds me of there was a special edition for a racing game that came out. You could pay $200,000 for that racing game and get a car with it. I remember.
You get the game and a $15,000 car is like $200,000, man. Here you go. I think Call of Duty, maybe for like Advanced Warfare or something like that, they were selling like a Jeep that was branded with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I was like, really? This is what you guys are about right now, huh? Getting this branded Jeep. But the next thing, we'll end it on this one. We'll end it on a fun one, Dan. I kind of want to know. I sort of know what you thought about it already. But Psyonix dropped the DC Superheroes DLC pack on March 5th for $4. Some Psyonix for Rocket League for the racing mini game. Let's call it that. For $4, it included
likes it that way.
It included the classic '89. It includes the 89 Batmobile and the tumbler from the Dark Knight trilogy, along with a bunch of DC related decals. You bought it. How are the cars treating you, Dalan? How do you like the tumbler? How do you like the '89 Batmobile?
Yo, I was tumbling everywhere and I was going hard with that thing. My only problem with the tumbler is the fact that you can't change its color or anything about it. So you're kind of confused.
I mean, Christopher Nolan, man, don't mess with Christopher Nolan's creation, right? That the epitome of the Bat vehicle is the tumbler.
But it's not even like dark. It's just
it's not even it's just bulky. It's just amorphous.
Yeah, it's just camouflage.
What about the Batmobile? What do you think of the '89 Bat? You see, I remember we were playing. You're like, this is long. This is a long car.
Because I was playing with the Dark Knight Batmobile. No, not the Dark Knight. The Batman versus Superman Batmobile. I was playing with that one for the longest time. Of course, I love using the what's the name of that other car? The Back to the Future car, the DeLorean. I like using the DeLorean. So I was using those two cars for the longest time. And then I was like, all right, I need these new Batmobiles. So I picked up the Batmobile first game. I was like, man, this car feels long. That nose looks like it's sticking way out there. And then after I switched over to the tumbler, it felt big and bulky. I was like, this thing feels heavy. I know I'm going just as fast, but it feels heavy.
So and that's for this week, Salient Points episode 24. I'm Carlos Macias. You can find me at Do Say Clean. And Dalan, where can the fine folks find you on the interwebs?
Dalan Kirkley, you can find me on YouTube more likely at Cloud Neftis 2. So if you want to find me there I'll be.
Someone took Nephis one or whatever, you know.
I know exactly who it was.
You know what? You know who it was. Are you tracking them down, man? Let him have it.
If he ever listens to this, he knows who I'm talking to.
You know what? Now that they've gotten their money's worth out of you, man. As far as Rocket League is concerned, like this is why you don't want to double, triple, quadruple dip, man. Because you buy all the DLC packs, or at least you've bought 2. So that means if you buy it on the Switch, you'd have to buy that DLC pack, and so you can have your car, and you can have all the.
I will space it out, but if I get it on the Switch, I think I get the Samus car or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just use the Samus car.
Use the Samus car.
That's how I live my life, man. I live it one morph ball at a time.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, thank you. It's 4 of them.
Yeah,
you get 4 of them. You get 4 of them in the Switch version. You get 4 morph balls, and they go.
Yeah, thank you.
They're quite speedy. All right, Dalan.
All right, we're good then.